At week 4. Technically, you have till midnight tonight to turn in week 3. So if you haven't yet turned in week 3 stuff, you're good to go for a bit. Case 1 assignment on page EX208, tutorial 4. Next week, we do have the final open book, open notes in class. And it's accumulation of all your quizzes. So done well on those, you'll do fine on the final. No surprises as far as the data. Week 1, case 1, we'll go over actually before we leave tonight on the Cane Forge Park, the source and the needed file both. And the in-class exercise has a start file and a solution file both. You can go ahead and open up both of those if you want to real quick. It's in the in-class exercise. Give you a few moments to do that. I'm having everybody just open up the in-class exercise stuff in week 4. Everyone's opening the in-class exercise for week 4. Yep.
Is this still software Lotus?
Excuse me?
Does Lotus still exist?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep, it does. So who's still loading the exercises? Anybody still working on that? Okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. Well, while it's loading, those of you who are still loading, you can go ahead and look on the overhead. We'll go ahead and go over what the end result's going to look like when we're done. One of the things we'll be doing is, if you look on the overhead, you'll notice on row 2 and below, when I move the presentation down, the spreadsheet down, 2 stays static on the overhead as I move it, okay? And that's called freeze pane. Allows you to keep areas static on the screen for viewing purposes. And generally it's good to have on that for header information on rows to see it as it goes through. And you can see that also on the pie chart. There's no data down below row 17, but you can see when I move my mouse to go below row 17, again, rows 1 through 17 stay static. Same on the bar chart, stays static as well below row 18. On the line as well, stays static on the line chart. So that's one thing we'll be going over. The other thing we'll be going over too, that's not in your in class, is honing down on sometimes there might be a need to limit results for meetings or whatever. And you can do filtering, which I'll show you how to do. And so I can like filter, for instance, just the month of March. And now it's just showing March in all the charts as they go across. And go back and I can clear this. Go to select all again, brings it back. Or if I wanted to just focus on one of the utilities. And so really for month by month is how this one would be used mostly though, breaking it down that way. So I can select again multiple months, only maybe April, August, December, put them side by side. So we'll learn how to do that. And then we'll talk about what these charts are. The first chart type we'll look at is inline chart, meaning the chart is in line with the data on the spreadsheet. It's in the same spreadsheet page, because when you create a chart, you can do one of the two things: put it in line on the same page that the spreadsheet's at, or you can create a new page, a new spreadsheet to put that chart on separately. And then we'll go over pie chart, bar chart, and line chart, what those are. Okay? So everybody have your initial presentation up, your spreadsheet up? As soon as you have it up, go ahead and do a Control S on your keyboard. It's this one right here that has the note, the to-do note. Just do a Control S on your keyboard, and it should prompt you to save it because it's read-only. And make sure you save it onto your desktop as your first initial last name, as it says on step 1 there. And make sure on these computers, I believe it's on the favorites. You have to click on favorites and desktop, and then you can type in your first initial last name once you select desktop. And then tonight we'll kind of go, we have a lot to do, but not as much as we did last week or 2 weeks ago. So what I'll do is, once you guys get step 1 done, if you don't mind, I'll just do step by step with you tonight. And that way, if you have any questions on what I did and how I did it, you can ask me versus letting you do it on your own. If that's okay? We'll just do it that way. So if you could do me a favor and raise your hand when you get step 1 finished. You got it named and it's on the desktop. All right. Some people still working on that, so all right. Just look at me when you're done. Those of you still working, that'd be great. Okay, good. Get it? Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is on step 2, we're going to freeze the pane above row 3. Right now, if you look on the overhead and look on yours, you can actually scroll down on this and it keeps moving. So what you need to do is just put your mouse and click on the number 3. Actually click on the number 3, which is row 3. It'll select the entire row when you do that. Your mouse should turn to an arrow when you do that as well. Then you're going to go to the View tab in Excel, and there's a Freeze Panes section. You click on the drop down. You have 3 options. One is Freeze Panes. This one's the one we're going to use in just a second, but it freezes the panes on your current selection and above, okay? Or actually above the current selection. Freeze top row, just as the top row. Freeze first column, just as the first column. Generally, you're going to use the first one, which is Freeze Panes. It's the easiest one to use. So go ahead and click on the Freeze Panes, and then scroll down with your mouse, with your roller thing on your mouse to make sure that this is working. All right, everybody get that? Okay. Now, one of the things you have to be careful, since we did that, it's going to put a little line in our comment, and so be careful not to move your mouse down. So we did step 2. Now step 3, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is inserting charts. The first type of charts at Inline I talked a little bit about already. The Inline chart is just that. It's a chart in line with the data. And it's good for snapshot of data alongside charts. And charts are just a visual representation of numbers, graphical representation of numbers. And they have nice colors, graphical representation, easy to see. If you watched last night, maybe on the news, where they showed the polling and the different numbers that people got, the winners, the losers, everything. They usually use some type of chart to show you that, whether it be a bar chart, a pie chart. Most likely last night, most of them used like a bar chart showing you the numbers, so you can easily see the number, percentage of precincts that have reported, all that good stuff. And it's fairly popular to use an inline chart. 4, 5, and 6, a pie chart generally needs more than one bit of data to compare with, because you're comparing it with something else. So you have to have more than one column to choose from. Bar chart, again, you can have just one on that one, it's fine, because like for instance, if we just had January in a bar chart, it would bring in utilities, rent, grocery, and totals for in a bar chart. In a pie chart, it would just show one big circle, basically, of the entire month cost. And then line chart, this is used a lot in stock market displays on stock prices, things of that nature. And so if you're going to financial fields, or you've been in banking at all, or accounting, you use line charts a lot to get plots of numbers. So let's go ahead and visually look at these, if you don't mind, real quick. I'm going to go to the source one again to look at the finished result before they do these. So there's an inline chart of what we'll do in just a second of the budget. And I'm going to go ahead and clear this to where it has all information. So you'll notice on this one here, it's got on the left side a column from 0 to 2,500, which is the range of totals here. So it gives a whole, like, it goes up one higher than what, like, I think the highest actually is this one right here, 2,049, which is the month of August. But it goes to 2,500. And then the bottom is the horizontal axis, which is a category, January through December. It gets that information here. Again, this information here is from the totals column. And then the my budget rent, my budget groceries, my budget totals comes from this here. Okay? And then the bars actually are made up. When you actually click on the bars itself, it'll actually give you the series it pulls it from in the data on an inline chart. It'll show you exactly where it's coming from on that data. So I'm clicking on each one of these bars, and you'll notice it's highlighting the corresponding category for that. Okay? And so you can go in, and once you create the chart, change the colors and the formatting and all that good stuff. We'll do that in a second. You can add borders around it, titles into it, all the good stuff. So that's the inline. Let's go to the pie chart. The pie chart, again, and this one, it shows January through September. It's not big enough. I don't have it big enough, I don't think, on the chart, probably. Yeah, that's what I did. On my screen anyway. You might see on yours or you might not. Yeah, this chart's not big enough. It's going to cut off some stuff. So let me make it a little bit bigger where you can see everything. There you go. So in this one we have January through December, and then it has over each one of the pie slices the number. You can actually hover your mouse over it. It'll tell you the amount and what the percentage is. And what we do is we add in actually the labeling to show up, because you can actually turn that off to where it doesn't show the labeling. Meaning, what I mean by labeling is the numbers here. And that's, sometimes it's nice to see the numbers, but sometimes you don't want to see the numbers. Sometimes you wouldn't want to see that. But I'll show you how to do that when we go through it. And then the bar is, again, January through December, 0 through 2,500. And then it has the series, my budget totals, groceries, rent, and utilities. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to yours, the one you're working on. And we're starting on the first one, which is the inline. We're going to select here in just a second A1 through E14. And we're going to place it below row 16. So somewhere in here, we'll place it. All right. So let me show you how to do that real quick. I'll show you and then you can do it. So A1 through E14. Then we're going to go to Insert, Chart. And let's see, I think we're going to do a column chart. And we'll just select one of these 2Ds. Bring this into full view for us so we can see a little bit better. That note's kind of in the way a little bit. Let's see. Now, I think on my original solution here for this one, I slanted the dates here a little bit. You don't have to do that, but I can show you real quick how to do that. But first, before we do anything, we can actually select, if you wanted to, different, and I'll let you choose a different color scheme for each one of these. And then, so you've got design, which is dealing with color, layout, and format. So if we go to layout, for instance, and go to the axis titles, we can actually change the axis title to rotate accordingly. We can put in an axis title if we wanted to. I'll go ahead and bring that back out. Let's see. And the legend, you can actually move that around too. Right now it's default where it's at, but I can move it around if I wanted to. Bless you. Put it on the bottom. I can put the legend back to the right. I can put the legend overlapping on the left, which looks ugly. So I'm going to go back to the right. These here, when you put your mouse over these, it'll actually tell you what it is. This one here is the horizontal category axis. And you can do a title below if you wanted to. We'll go back to the design. I'll go to format here. I don't want that. You can actually show data table with legend keys, which in this case wouldn't work well with the bar chart. So go ahead and select A1 through E14, and I'll bring mine back to where it was at the beginning. It's going to be kind of hard because you got to move it around that comment thing, I know, but so again, A1 through E14, we'll select that. Then we'll go to Insert, and we're going to go to Column on the chart area, and just select this clustered column is fine, the first 2D clustered column. All right. And you can select a different color scheme if you want to. And then you'll need to move this. You might have to take your zoom out a little bit to move it. Take it down a little bit. I took mine down to 70% so I can move where I want it to go. I want it below 16. There we go. So if yours looks something like that, you're good to go. Okay? Everybody got that? Okay. Next, what we're going to do is select that same range, A1 through E14, go to Insert, and then we're going to do a pie chart. And let's go ahead and select this exploded pie onto 2D, exploded pie. All right. And over to the very right, there's a button that says Move Chart. When you click that, do you see that? Just go ahead and click on the Move Chart button and tell it where you want it to go. We want it to go into the pie spreadsheet. Click OK. Then it should take you to the pie spreadsheet. Then you just have to move that over a little bit to the left to position it some. Everybody have that? Yes.
Where it says move chart,
Yes.
so it's from this to pie. And okay.
And then just move that pie chart over to the left a little bit.
I don't know.
All right? Give you a second to get that. You got to hold your tongue just right too. It doesn't work. Now, as soon as you guys move that, go ahead and do a Control S on your keyboard to save what we've done so far once you've done the pie move. We are going to go to the Layout tab. Those of you who are ready, as soon as you've moved your pie chart over left a little bit. Ready? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the Layout tab in the Charts area, and we're going to go to the Data Labels. So Layout tab in the Charts tools, go to Data Labels and select Best Fit. And that's going to bring in your data labels for each pie or each part of the pie to give you some numbers for each one of the months. And then do Control S. Everybody got that? Okay. Now we're going to go back to the Charts tab, do that over again. Same thing we did before, but this time we're going to create a bar chart. And we are going to change the legend position on this one to whatever you want it to be. So we'll kind of look at it in a second. So A1 to E14, Insert, Bar Chart, and I'll let you do, let's do a 3D this time. The first one here on the 3D row, which is Clustered Bar in 3D. Go ahead and click on that. As soon as you click on that, go ahead and click on the Move Chart again, like we did before, and we're going to move that to the bar spreadsheet. So click the drop down, select bar, and then click OK. Move it over to the left like you did with the pie. All right. Now here's where I'm going to let you select your legend in a different place, move it around. So all you need to do for this one is click on the Layout tab and go to Legend. Right now it's showing the legend at the right. You can actually play around with which one looks best to you. You can do any one of them. It doesn't matter, just to play around with it. I'm going to choose the bottom on mine. So You can choose whichever one you want to. You'll notice, though, on this one, that some of the months are cut off. I don't know if yours is. And the only thing we need to do to correct that is make that chart a little bit bigger. Click away a little bit, and it should be okay. So I had to make mine a little bit bigger there until I saw the months show up. It should be all right there. And then do Control S. Everybody have that? Next, we're going to go to Insert a Line Chart, and we're going to change the chart style on this one. So A1 through E14. Let's go to Insert, Line, and just let's do a 2D, the first one on the 2D, which is just plain line. Click that. Move chart. We're going to move it to the line, object in line, drop down. Click OK. Move it over to the left. And I believe this one we're going to change the chart style. So right here, I think it gives you the colorful one here by default. You can play around with it and change whichever one you like. If you click this drop down, it gives you more to choose from, thicker lines. So, you know, just whichever one you like, choose that one. I'll choose the green gradient. It gives different green gradients there. Okay. Control S. Now, what we got to do is, on each one of these, pie, bar, and line, we need to do a freeze pane right below, or freeze pane, I guess, above or below the text. And so in this case, on this one, mine would be above 19 on line, bar would be above line 19, pi would be above line 18, okay? So go ahead and do that real quick. It's the same way that we did it with the first chart tab. Is you click on the row first, you go to View, Freeze Panes, and click Freeze Panes. That's all you've got to do on all three of them. So just click on the row right below the panes that you want frozen. And then test to make sure it's not moving when you put your mouse goes down on all three. And then Control S. Do what now? Oh, you mean the very first one? No, we could, but we're not going to for this one. You're right, we could do it on the very first one as well, on the inline chart. We'll just keep it where we had it, which was on line, what was it, above row 3, I believe. So yeah, just for the pie, bar, and line spreadsheets, just do a freeze pane above those, above the description title, I believe it is. If you mess up, all you need to do is go back to the freeze pane and undo it. Yeah, you want it frozen below trends functional.
Oh, so that's weird.
Just go to freeze pane, unfreeze panes.
Okay.
And then click on like line 19, then go to freeze panes, there you go. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ever mess up on the freeze panes, you just have to click on freeze panes again and unfreeze the panes is all you got to do.
On the pie chart,
Yep.
it only shows just through September. So if you go to enlarge it,
Yeah, correct. I didn't do that. You're right. Yeah, if we enlarge it,
are you going to go over the pie chart like texting below it? Is that okay?
well, what I technically should have done here is move my stuff around. I didn't. I should have moved that description down further. Should have had you guys move that description down. So let me go ahead and do this. Click out of that. Let's unfreeze the panes. Okay, so I've got everything it looks like I want here, but my stuff's gone because I moved that chart down. So I can actually take this information here. I can actually insert a whole bunch of, like maybe multiple rows or something. We'll try that. Yeah, I didn't catch that on the first one. There you go. So yeah, you might have to play with it a little bit on that one. I didn't catch that on the pie chart. And then it looks like row 23 I can freeze above row 23. Then we're okay.
Is that okay if it's not exactly?
Yeah, don't worry about it. I didn't have you guys do it, so don't worry about it. Yeah,
As long as it's, we freeze it.
correct. Yeah. Freeze the panes here. Yeah, because see, when you freeze panes, it's freezing everything I have as it is when I go there. So that's one of the tricky parts of freezing panes.
Is that why it's not moving?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's not moving. So everything I've got visible when I freeze panes is the only thing that stays visible.
How do you freeze it so it's
Well, you take it down like this. You know, view it to where it's like this. Like I've got mine at 64%. Should be able to freeze it that way then. Yeah, we're all right. Now if I go back to 100%, should be okay now. Yeah. So it's kind of tricky on freeze panes. And we could also play with the font size on this, maybe make it a little smaller or something, but whatever. So freeze panes is definitely kind of tricky a little bit. But it works if you have the data, the pie in there like you want it to be, to where it doesn't move down. Like mine, even at 100%, doesn't move. The pie stays where it is, and all of your stuff should stay where they're at, and that's the main thing basically. Now, one of the things we haven't went over yet that I wanted to show you was, as you click on your different spreadsheet tabs, you can actually change the zoom level for every one of them to be different, and it remembers it in Excel. So what I mean by that is, if we go back to the Charts tab, and let's change the view, the zoom on that to say, I don't know, let's go to 100% on that, okay, on the zoom. Let's go to the pie chart, and let's bring that to say 85% or 84%, something like that. And then the bar chart, let's bring it to 100. Line chart, we'll bring it down a little bit to like say 77%. And then after you've done that, go ahead and go back and click on those prior spreadsheets, and you should see the zoom level change. Okay? So that's nice when you're, because especially if you have different types of data you want to zoom in on, you can go ahead and preset your zooms and save it, and Excel will remember it even when you shut the Excel app down and open it back up later. It'll remember those zooms in there. So that's kind of nice to keep mind of. All right? Okay, next, and the last step we're going to do is we're going to make this sortable. Right now, we can't sort this. And this is not in your step-by-step. I'm going to show you how to do it. All you've got to do is select A2 through D14. And it's important you only select those because that's just the data, not the totals. We don't want the totals. We don't want to sort totals. We just want to sort the data, okay? So we have the data selected, both the columns, the categories, and the rows and columns. Then we're going to go and sort this data by clicking on the Data tab and just clicking Filter one time. As soon as you click Filter, you'll see some drop-downs show up. And then here's where you start seeing the power of filters. You can actually, and months is actually the best one to use. You can go ahead and click on the drop-down in the A column, and let's uncheck where it says Select All, and maybe select 3 months, like April, August, December. Click OK. Then it's going to update now your charts for all 3 of those months. It'll only show April, August, December in the inline, on the pie chart, on the bar chart, and on the line chart. Okay? And that's basically just doing a filter of your data. All right? And that's real powerful to use. Doesn't take long to do. And then if you wanted to go back to where it was, you just hit Select All again, and everything's back to where it was. And so this is good for meetings where you're pivoting on months. You're looking at, and you can, by the way, move this towards a little bit bigger. You can, say we're in March now, but we also want to look at, and you'll notice one thing I don't like about this is it sorts it alphanumeric, doesn't sort it by months. Yeah, correct, by chronologic. And so that's the only thing I don't like about it, but everything else okay. So I'm going to do February, March, and April. Click OK. Excuse me. And there is our corresponding months, both before and after, to look at, maybe for a quarterly type of report or something that we're viewing in a meeting. And what's great about it is it dynamically updates it. And then once you create the data, it can then be pulled at any time and changed at any time as far as the view of that data. So that's pretty powerful and pretty cool, I think, to use. Any questions on anything that we went over? No? All right, you guys are pretty quiet, and it sounds like you want to get out of here. All right, so the tutorial for quiz and case project, I want to go over the case project real quick. Case project take home. And you have tutorial 4 case project this week, due next Wednesday. When you come to class next Wednesday, that'll be the final class for Excel. Some of you I know are in PowerPoint. The PowerPoint class is a different structure. We'll be doing what's called a capstone project in PowerPoint. You'll create each week 3 to 5 new slides. I'll come around and actually check off the items you've created. You have like certain items we'll have you add, certain concepts you'll add each week. And you'll create a capstone PowerPoint of your own choosing. Whatever type of PowerPoint you want to create, whether it be for work or home. Students have done in genealogies, they've done it for work type of projects, other class type of projects, use that capstone for that. And then at the end of the 5th week, instead of a final, that you present to each other in PowerPoint, your PowerPoint on your row, basically, and that's it. Okay? And when you leave, you actually have a CD of that PowerPoint that you've created to take home. So that's pretty cool. So week 4, case 1. Let's look at the end result. Okay, this has a cover sheet documentation, then goes into monthly visits, which brings in a chart with an inline chart with a graph, pie chart, and park usage data, which brings kind of a conglomerate of information from this right here. It actually uses this actually here to create this usage data. Okay? And start off source is pretty generic, I believe. that you start with on that one. I believe it has your data, because you're just manipulating the data. You're using this actually to create, so this is already here for you. This tab, so you're creating these two middle spreadsheets basically for chart. Inline chart, chart in and of itself, in a whole separate worksheet like we did tonight. So that's all you're doing for that one. One of the things you are also creating is, which we did already by default, is putting in the title. In ours that we did tonight, you'll notice the brought in on most of these, especially on the pie chart, because we selected that. It uses my budget, and then it uses utilities as the default for this one, because that's the first one that was selected on there. But you can actually easily click on a chart and go into layout and say you want to add a chart title, you want to center it above the chart, you can do so. There we go. And change your chart title to whatever you want it to be. So that's easy to do within a chart. And so what's nice about it, and one thing you want to remember is on your charts, when you're editing the charts, after you've left them and come back, once you click on the chart, you have all the tools showing up here at the top. From design, changing your different style, layout, changing maybe your legend placement from right, bottom, top, left, data labels. Data labels, for the most part, are generally only used in a pie chart because it's fitting to use or to see the data labels in them. The other ones can be kind of confusing because they're so small. The bars are so small and the lines are so small in the line charts to have data labels. It just looks really confusing. I have seen them used that way, but it really fits well using data labels in the pie chart. So that's the Kenya, and it does use, by the way, a pie chart here with data labels. And this one here is a bar chart, 3D bar chart, which is a little bit different, but pretty cool. So anyway, that's your case one for tutorial 4. And if you have any questions on anything, you can come and see me before you leave. Otherwise, next week, bring your notes. Any notes you have, you can bring your book, which some of you already do already, because it is open book, open notes for the final. Okay? And basically, I use the data from the first 4 quizzes for the final. Okay? So the same questions, just mix them around a little bit. And so they are mixed up and changed up a little bit, but it's the same questions basically, just moved around some. So, all right? Any questions?
How did you say to enter a title again?
Enter a title on a chart.
Yeah.
Basically, you just click on the chart and go to the layout and chart title, like above chart, and it'll put it right in there. Chart title, yeah. And I suggest using the above chart, because if you do the center layered over, it kind of does this. It doesn't look good. And so you want the above chart is one I'd recommend doing. Now, if you do add a title to any chart, you'll notice how it squishes your data. It squishes the form. I don't know if you could see that. So it's none right now, and I'll watch when I click it to above chart. Kind of squishes everything down. So sometimes you might have to move that chart and make it a little bit bigger sometimes because of that. So a good question. It's used a lot. So all right, well, we're done. If you have any questions, come and see me. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week. Before you leave, make sure, and I didn't mention this, some of you are still looking at me because you haven't uploaded your in-class. Make sure you do upload your in-class that you did tonight. I think I had it on the steps, but I did not mention that. Yeah. Upload it to the Dropbox for step 8. Once you've closed, make sure you've closed out of Excel altogether before you try to upload. Otherwise, Eagle will not like that sometimes. And so in your Dropbox, I believe, yeah, it's the Dropbox for week 4 for the in-class. Just click on that in-class exercise, attachments, put your name in the title, and submit it. Yes? Anybody have a question? No? Okay. All right. Well, good job. Yes?